that seems kind of far-fetched. How can the stone be God? How can that be of these elements? Back in the day, before the universe existed, all that existed was God. So what did God create the world out of then? There was nothing but himself or herself at that time. So how did the world come about? God created the world, the universe, with himself or herself. God is the efficient cause, and God used the materials. That is himself. And how did he do it? He's the instrumental cause too. The efficient cause, the creator. The material cause, meaning the actual created. And how it was done, the creation, all of that is God. Just like when we're dreaming, we create the universe entities, and that creation is all done by the mind. Nothing is separate from the mind in the dream. In the same way, nothing is separate from God. God is all of this. Name, form, God. Name, form, God. Name, form, God. We keep focusing on the names and forms and ignoring the God aspect of it. When we serve his creation, we serve him. And this is exactly what Swami Chinmayananda said. Service to our country is the service of the Lord of Lords. Devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. Everything's connected if we open our mind to it. It's all right in front of us. Knowledge in action is seva. Knowledge in action is seva. Seva turns knowledge into wisdom. We have to reflect on this seva bhava more, and we will. What Ramana Maharshi is encouraging us to do is have this satsanga attitude in every activity we do in life. Now continuing, we move to shloka 6, where Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi again is giving us a way to keep this satsang alive, this satsang attitude alive. I'll chant, you can repeat. Uttamastavat uchamandataha Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam Uttamastavat uchamandataha Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam. What Ramana Maharshi says here is that singing, I take that back, better than singing, or more subtle than singing, is loud japa. More subtle than loud japa is soft japa. Better than soft japa is silent japa. So again, better than singing is loud japa. Better than loud japa is soft japa. Better than soft japa is mental japa. And then you have contemplation. Some of us may be asking, what is the point of all of this? We talk about puja, body, mind, speech. We talk about the different forms of japa, etc., etc. What is the point of all of this? As I mentioned before, as you think, so you become. All that Ramana Maharshi is trying to convey to us is start thinking about the divine. This has such utter potency that we don't recognize yet. When I came last year, I shared with you the train story, and I'm pretty sure I shared it in January. There are many new faces. I'm going to share a story that conveys the power of the mind to us. This one gentleman worked for a company that transported frozen food from city to city in Bharat, in India. And this was back in the day where they had steam engines instead of electric trains. So he's on the compartment, and he's checking the fridges and the various other, frozen equipment that is in that compartment. This is there, that's there. Checks everything. And he turns around and he's leaving the compartment. And he goes to open the door, but it's locked. And he's stuck. So he starts banging on the door to get someone's attention to open the door, but the engine had already started, so there was a lot of noise that was going on. So he's screaming, he's kicking, he's trying to get someone's attention, but the train started. The train was leaving Madras, again back in the day, so present-day Chennai, going to Delhi. And when it got to Delhi, then that company that was waiting for all those frozen foods, they opened the compartment, and he was dead on the floor. So they have to call the police then, right? Someone had died, there needs to be an investigation. So the police come, and they're checking out the compartment, they're checking out everything. What happened? How did this person die? This is so routine. And one of the investigators, he turns around and says, this person did not die due to pneumonia, hypothermia, or any such cause, because the fridge was not working that day. It was the fear in his mind that killed him. He thought he was going to freeze to death, and so he reacted accordingly. We do the same thing, but we don't get stuck in train compartments. We get stuck in presentations, in exams, getting married, during marriage, raising kids, job interviews, going to work. Same imagination runs wild, like Swamiji had said. There is a strong association that comes with names. When I say Rama, we automatically start thinking about bow and arrow, strength, beauty, Mother Sita, Lakshmana, Ramayana. When I say Aishwarya, we think of Abhishek Bachchan, Miss India, right? Various beauty products. When I say Hitler, we think of the death camps, we think about Poland, we think about Auschwitz-Birkenau. Such strong association with the name. Naturally, it's not going to work when we are chanting a divine name too. When I say Rama, Hanumanji, Shiva, Krishna, that same association is going to come. Why do we deny it then? This association works with everything else. Marketing companies thrive on this association. But they all learned it from Vedanta, from our rishis. They were the true psychologists, the true marketing executives. Truly, if any of you are marketing executives, I bet you that you're better than your neighbor, because you understand the mind more than your neighbor does. This is self-development. Vedanta is self-development. How to understand oneself, and only when I understand myself can I be better. If I don't know who I am, how can I be better? Like I said, this is most practical. There's a strong association with the name. For example, if I say pen, we automatically start thinking about the lead, or the ink, or the make, etc. What if I say a random word like jeweler? Nothing comes to mind because nothing is associated with that name. Which is why japa is done again of a divine name. Lord Rama, if you studied Ramayana or Ramcharitamanas, very powerfully said, Lord Rama saved thousands of people in 100 years. Lord Rama's name saves millions of people for millions of years. There is much more to a name than to a form. This name has changed so many times in the last X amount of years, but the name stayed the same. Our name will always stay the same, but that form keeps changing. There is great purity and sanctity and power in a name, which is why Ramana Maharshi again is saying, sing the Lord's name. But more purifying than that is chant the Lord's name out loud. More purifying than that is chant the Lord's name softly. More purifying than that is chant the Lord's name in one's mind. Same logic as pujas. Pujas you can't do all the time. Chanting out loud you can't do all the time. If you're in a library, you can't chant out loud. When you're at work and suppose you're doing something and you're saying Lord Rama, just you're chanting, the person next to you thinks you're crazy. It's an invasion of privacy. But it can be done in the mind, all the time. And that's where it's most purifying as well. When I say chant out loud, when I say singing, I mean doing bhajans, stotrams, suktams. Chanting out loud means someone else hears you. When chanting softly means only you hear yourself. Chanting mentally means there's no usage of speech. It's just happening in here.